Hey, two crazy teachers on the weekend special.
Woo!
We're not doing two anymore on the weekends. We're just doing one weekend special.
There's too many things to do on the weekend.
Too many to do.
Yes.
So, word of the day.
The word of the day is avian, and avian is an adjective, and it's A-V-I-A-N, and it means of or relating to a bird. It's Latin, and it was first used in like the 1800s, 1861 or something like that. Okay. So when you hear avian, you can think of birds. Like there was an avian flu at one point, and that meant it was a bird flu.
Wow.
Okay. It's interesting because like if you think about aviation, it deals with flying, and so I didn't get the whole history of the word, but my guess is that it deals with flying.
Yeah, like aviation.
Yeah. They call avian dinosaurs that are descendants, like birds that were dinosaur-like from way long time ago.
Interesting.
Okay, that's my word of the day.
Are you going to use it in a sentence?
Um,
Don't shortchange us.
Well, sometimes there are people, or there are avian flus that are troublesome.
Debbie Downer. Okay, so then we have days, and I'm not going to shortchange you because that's not me. But this wall makes my complexion look good. Looks good.
Looks good.
Looks
My
good.
complexion looks good.
And it's not even filtered. I would never filter. Okay, so
No. People
anyway,
know when you filter.
No, I would never filter this.
I'm
or
proud of my wrinkles. See these wrinkles right here? I've worked really hard.
All right, moving on. Yesterday's day of the week, because there are 1,500 and we don't want to miss a single one of them,
I didn't look any up.
was a hug a plumber. I just like a plumber to call me back. That's the day I
You've
want.
had a lot of plumbing issues.
So
haven't you?
anyway, although I have a great person that's going to help
I
me
don't
out.
know. I don't know if random people would want to be hugged.
National Telephone Day.
Okay. Oh
Hello,
well.
hello. Oh, there's a telephone call. Ring, ring, ring. It's
There
also yesterday was World Malaria Day, which I'll probably bringing advocacy to malaria and that kind of stuff. And
Probably so. You normally contract malaria through mosquitoes
in other countries.
in other countries. Yeah.
So when I went to China, I had to take medicine, and I had to take.
Is there a vaccine for that, or is it just like a treatment or
I
something?
think there might be a vaccine, but I'm not for sure.
Oh.
I don't know. I had to take a vaccine. I think I took a vaccine. I would assume what I took was a vaccine.
I would think so.
And then I
It's
took
like a
medicine
prevention.
a couple steps. I don't know.
Alright.
But today's day is this kind of weird. It said it's National Kids and Pets Day.
Yeah, I saw that. Like,
But it's
maybe like
also-
your kid is your pet.
It's also National Pet Parents Day.
Yes, it is.
So Miss Mason has a pet.
I do. Same as
Welcome.
Axel.
Well, you've had other pets, but they're in the refrigerator now.
They're in the
So those, you kind of lost your license to be a. Yeah, you're not.
I didn't put them in the freezer alive. I just never buried them, and okay. No.
That's something you could do over your.
Yes, I could.
Your
Yes.
tape.
Remind me one day that it's not raining.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Pretzel Day.
I love pretzels.
Woo woo! I like
love
pretzels
Soft pretzels.
in mustard.
Ew, I don't like that.
Have you
like
ever heard
the
that
soft
before?
Yeah. The soft pretzels and mustard
Oh,
or regular
yeah.
pretzels.
Oh, soft pretzels and mustard.
Do you know that pretzels do actually expire? Like,
Oh, but you eat them anyway.
well, I had some pretzel rods in my cabinet, and I pulled them out, and I ate one, and it tasted a little bit, So I thought, well, I'll dip it in some cheese, and maybe it'll taste better. No. They expired in 2018.
Well,
I threw the rest of them away.
you should have eaten them.
They went rancid. The flour probably went
I don't
rancid.
like salt on my pretzels.
Mylan doesn't, but I
Like the big salt. I
love
think it's
salt.
just too. I'm not a salt person.
love salt.
It's Richter Scale Day.
Oh, yes!
That has to do with what?
Earthquakes.
Earthquakes.
How they're measured.
Okay, how they're measured by the strength of them. It's also South Dakota Day.
Oh.
So I don't know about the other states
I don't
or
know anyone from
whatever,
South
but
Dakota.
South Dakota.
I know somebody who was born in Montana.
And that's it for the days.
It's. I thought it was Hug a Friend Day.
No.
Yes, it is. On the
Canceled.
website I checked, it was Hug a Friend Day, but you can't.
Don't hug
any
a grouchy
friends today.
friend. No, it's not good. But there are some.
Wait, there's one more day.
What?
But you didn't say it, and
I don't know what
it's
it is.
Audubon Day,
I
and that's
skipped
why all of my stuff is centered around, so we can't forget it.
Isn't that like a type of car?
No,
Audubon?
that's a
Barn? Burn?
No.
Audubon?
Audubon talks about birds too, which is why avian was the word of the day, because Audubon deals with birds. And it's the word Audubon is related to John James Audubon, who I'm going to tell you about in a few minutes.
But I think there's a car called the Audubon.
I don't know that.
I bet it looks like a bird.
Maybe.
Okay, so do you want to go first?
Okay. So, first and foremost, there is like a National Audubon Society, and here's what's so crazy. There is. I can't believe you've never heard of this.
No, I skipped that one.
Yeah. And it was named after John James Audubon. Have you ever heard of John James Audubon?
No, I've heard of John James Appleseed.
No, that's Johnny Appleseed. Okay, so John James Audubon was born in late 1700 and then died in 1851. Okay, but he was at the time of his life, he was the country's dominant wildlife artist. So he took it upon himself to attempt to paint and describe all of the birds of America. I cannot believe you haven't heard of him.
No.
So like the Audubon books, like the Audubon Society books, and he was an immaculate artist. So he painted these pictures and he described the birds and he looked at all these species. And so he has a collection called Birds of America, and it has 435 life-size prints. So he drew these or painted them. I don't know if he drew them or painted them, and he made these. Okay, and he's like famous. So there's an Audubon Society, but he technically was not a part of that because it started after he was dead. But the man who kind of helped spearhead the Audubon Society was tutored by John James Audubon's widow. And so in honor of his work toward preservation and awareness of birds, he named this Audubon Society after him. You need to look it up. It's a huge deal. Like, it's a huge deal. Okay, so what's the coolest thing ever, and I didn't realize this, is that he spent some time in Kentucky. And we have a John James Audubon State Park.
Where?
In Kentucky. It's in Henderson in western Kentucky. It was established in 1934. And so, and not surprisingly, it has a lot of bird watching. So basically, he spent more than a decade as a businessman, and then he traveled down the Ohio River to western Kentucky and then the frontier. So he spent, I think he spent 9 years here. But yeah. So we have a park that's named after him. I just think that's totally cool.
Yeah.
And I have some more information that I'm going to share about hummingbirds a little bit later on, in honor of National Audubon Day. But I'll let you talk about your stuff first if you like. Or I can go ahead.
Just go on and do your humming, because mine's doom and gloom.
Oh, okay. So, if any of you...
And the hummingbird was blown out of the sky!
I have cute little feathery creatures. Teeny tiny ones. Okay, so, hummingbirds. I'm sure you know what they are. They're the cutest little things in existence of life. And they have just...
Dolphins are cuter.
No. The hummingbirds have just come back to this area. So they migrate like all the way down to Central America, or part of them do, and then come back up. So they have just been spotted. So if you have a hummingbird feeder at home, you need to put them out, because I put mine out earlier last week and they keep visiting my feeder and they're so cute. If you don't have a feeder, you can get them relatively cheap, and then you can make your own nectar. It's 4 parts water, 1 part sugar, and boil it until the sugar dissolves, then pour it in the feeder and then watch it. But you have to change it frequently because it gets rancid. Okay, so I'm going to tell you just a few little facts about hummingbirds because they're so cute. There are over 350 species of hummingbirds. For real. And a new species is normally described every year, which is totally cool. Okay? There are only 3 that remain and regularly breed in the United States. The other ones mostly live south because they like it warmer. Okay? And the most well-known species in the United States is the ruby-throated hummingbird. And
isn't it red right here on its throat?
Yeah, on the throat. But it's I want to say that maybe like the male is red and the female's not. I can't remember. But okay, so hummingbirds, they come in all shapes and sizes, but they're kind of tiny. The average hummingbird weighs about 4 grams, but it could fatten up to an impressive 8 grams before heading off to migrate. The smallest hummingbird is a bee hummingbird, and it doesn't even weigh like half the weight of a nickel. It's like tiny. And then there's a bigger one that can weigh up to like 20 grams. Okay, I'm not good with grams. I'm better with ounces. I don't know. Hummingbird nests, they're little teeny tiny, and you probably almost miss them because they look like a little cup, and they're normally in like the Y part of a tree where the branch sets off. So you have to be real careful if you're cutting down shrubbery because they're really tiny. Some of them are like the size of a quarter. It's really cool. And they make them out of all kinds of weird stuff. Their wings flap between 50 and 80 beats per second. 50 and 80 beats per second.
Does that have to eat a lot?
They do. I'm getting to that. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, but that's good because you know why they have to eat a lot? Because their
The
metabolism.
energy.
Yes, their metabolism is so high because they have so much going on, and their heart rate, it can reach over 1,200 beats per minute.
Oh my.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
More than 20 beats every single second. And they only live about 3 to 5 years. Kind of sad. Some have lived up to 12, but they can live longer in captivity. And they have to eat. They consume around half their own body weight every day. And most of the time they eat just nectar, like from flowers and stuff, and insects and spiders. And oh, they use their tongue like a straw. That's why they can and get this
Make
stuff
sure you
out.
keep that part in.
Okay, no, well. And I think that's all I have. So
I was
hummingbirds.
reading a documentary on Alaska, and they were talking about some of the hummingbirds actually come as far up as Alaska.
I believe it.
And if they get up there though, and the frost has not gone over,
Will it kill 'em?
then they was showing a hummingbird that was like on its last limb, basically.
Doom and gloom.
Because,
Oh my word.
because they have to eat so much,
Yeah.
so fast, and without, if they couldn't find just one little flower to get the nectar out, or one little tree, then and it just showed the wings flapping slower and slower
Oh,
until there was
this
nothing
is
left.
horrible.
And then a coyote ate it. But no, I'm just kidding. The coyote didn't eat it. It lived. The hummingbird lived.
I
but-
do think that hummingbirds, I read somewhere one time that they're the only bird that can fly backwards, but I don't know if that's true or if that's like a myth that I just made
They
up.
kind of do go backwards.
They do go backwards, but the only bird that can go back that can fly backwards.
They zip right past you.
They do.
Okay, doom and gloom. So, two things in history. Didn't we talk about the guillotine one time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that was like our second episode. I
Yeah.
think.
So in 1792, is the guillotine is used to execute for the first time, is what this said, a highwayman named Nicholas Petchler, which I don't know what he did to get the
You should look that up.
execution. Well, I
Look
did,
it up.
but then I got sidetracked with this other doom and gloom stuff.
Oh,
But anyway,
okay.
it was
A highwayman. You think he was like a robber?
probably a robber or something.
Like he
that.
robbed people on
So
the
anyway,
road?
killed. Also, though, in 1986 was the world's worst nuclear disaster. It occurs at the, how'd you say, Chernobyl? Chernobyl power plant in the Soviet Union. And here's the deal. It's the worst disaster in history of nuclear power generated, nuclear power that's generated. There were 4 reactors, and what happened was those 4 reactors were capable of producing 1,000 megawatts of electric power, which, even though disasters, it's very rare that disasters like this happen. There are 450 nuclear reactors throughout the world in 30 different countries, but when there is an issue, it's like a big issue.
Are there any here?
There are some in the United States. I don't know if there are any in Kentucky or not. But there are, I don't know how many are in the United States, but I would say we have some. I know we have some. But it came online finally in 1983, but it had been started in 1977.
So online means like it was operating?
It was operational. So what happened was the workers attempted a poorly designed experiment. The workers
there you
shut
go.
down Unit 4, reactor's power regulating system, and the emergency safety systems.
Why?
I don't know that for sure why, but it sounds like they were just kind of see what would happen. And
Don't do
so
that.
the
Don't.
core went out of control, the lid blew off, it released a large amount of radioactive material into the atmosphere. The Soviet Union tried to cover it up. Some people say only 2 people died, some people say 50 people died. I believe that more than 2 people died.
Yeah.
In 2000, all 4 reactors were taken off. Well, there was a time where 1 reactor was taken offline and another reactor was taken off. All 4 of them were all of them were gone in,
So was
in
it
2000.
still used until then?
Some of the reactors were used.
Because I thought that it was like, it like just decimated the whole area. Or maybe I'm thinking about something else, but I thought it was, and it was still like radioactive in that area
Well,
today.
so it is radioactive still today. People contracted diseases and later died.
Because it caused cancer.
yeah.
Radiation.
Wind blew the radioactivity all over the place, and the world kind of panicked about
Yeah.
it because once it got shut up in the air, it could go anywhere and everywhere. Okay? So, what they have is
Wow.
they have an exclusion zone. It's a 1,600 square miles, where you can get permits to go there.
But you're not. I think I've seen like photographers go there or something.
And so scientists go there, and other people go there
Wow.
to do experiments and to check the radioactivity, but it's still fairly...
How much? 1,600 square miles?
1,600 square miles. I believe they started out at 1,100 square miles, and then they increased it to 1,600 square miles. Millions
That's
of
big.
acres of forest and farmland were contaminated. There were lots of deaths of animals, and animals were born with deformities, and they acquired deformities. I have thought that I have read somewhere that humans there developed deformities, or people that were women that had babies in that area and that kind of stuff, that they had deformities, but I couldn't find any of that information. But they did have lots of animals with deformities. Like I said, there are 450.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna throw punch you.
You're just like stuck on those deformities.
450 nuclear reactors across the world in 30 different countries. But again, it is the safest. They say...
What is the safest?
Nuclear is the safest.
Nuclear what?
Nuclear power to generate electric. Oh. You know what the least safest is?
Water?
No. How can water be unsafe?
I don't know. Well, you can drown in it. Wind? I'm just thinking of natural resources.
Blow you over.
Ouch. Coal?
Coal is one of the least
because they burn it.
Because they burn it, what it does to the environment, and what it does to the miners, and that kind of stuff.
Okay, I know what you mean.
Nuclear doesn't put off hardly any...
I didn't, like, you're talking about, like, the cleanest energy source.
It is the cleanest, but it's also the safest.
Because when I misunderstood
Well,
you,
it's probably not even the safest. Or it's not probably the cleanest.
Because I don't know if it would... Okay, yeah.
It's probably not the cleanest. I would say like water, hydroelectricity is probably one of the cleanest. Or wind.
What do you call electricity is generated by wind? Wait.
So, not wind. Or solar is probably cleaner.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Those are natural resources.
As far as safest.
Safest. Okay, that makes sense.
Nuclear is supposed to be the safest.
And it's...
But it's not as... I don't know if it's even... It just depends on where you're from or where you live.
That scares
me. You know, lots of people rely on coal and natural gas and that kind of stuff here. We don't necessarily rely on nuclear energy. Look, we got to go on a big tangent here.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that is our weekend special. Miss Mason and I had a great day today. We both did the same thing. School related, even though we hadn't planned on it. Yeah. We went and cleaned lockers.
Yes.
I love cleaning out lockers.
Kids, I hope that you have cleaned your rooms, because those lockers, and kids, what we did is we just put every single thing that was in that locker straight into a bag.
Yes.
And put your name on it. So, wadded up papers.
It's all in there.
Everything is in there. So your parental units are going to have a grand time looking at this, and they're going to say, where did all this stuff come from? It came from your locker.
So, you know what I found? People in my homeroom from last semester.
Yeah.
People in my homeroom that had a bottom locker were messier and had more stuff than people on the top locker.
I almost sent that to our 6th grade group because, hands down, I did the top lockers first, and I was like, this isn't bad at all.
Probably took me 15 minutes to do the top lockers.
I opened the bottom lockers.
I kept opening the bottom lockers because I thought, oh, there's got to be one.
Oh, I ended up opening them all, and they were packed full. I mean, several had multiple bags worth of stuff. Like one of them had 3 pairs of shoes. Yeah,
one of mine had one shoe, just one shoe.
Where did the other one go?
I don't know. In the trash, in the bag. Anyway, this is Two Crazy Deidre signing off on a rainy day. I think tomorrow's supposed to be nicer, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys. Love ya.